Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. As y'all see, I just got that fresh cut. Yeah, I mean, I'm back in the game. You see what I'm saying? I'm back in the game. Y'all, if y'all just saw me yesterday, y'all have been like, yo, Rico, you all right? You okay? You okay? Because you look like it's a little rough. It's not going well. Either way, once again, guys, we back with some more heat. We bringing it to you. We back at it. You know what I'm saying? We got another. Today we got another special guest. We got the good behavior guy. I've known him my whole life. He's never had good behavior, but we're gonna leave that up to for you guys to see that coming in. So last week it was a crazy week. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get right into it. Last week was a crazy week. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about it. He got a gripe about his quarterback and what I said. We're gonna get in some power rankings. And then, you know what I mean? We're gonna get in these week 12 picks. This is gonna be simple, real easy stuff. We're gonna help him get his life together. Nick, you
What's
here?
up, Rick?
Nick, what's good, cuz?
What's up, brother? How you doing,
Oh,
man?
man, I'm good. Listen, I was just telling them, I was just bad mouthing you to about like 50 50 at least 50,000 people per post.
We like doing that, bro.
So look, you always got a gripe every time you come over here. Now, can I tell people what we talked about? So when I first got Nick to come on here, I said, "Listen, I film a little late. I'm not gonna say the time. I don't even need to say what time it is." So when he said, "Why you film so late?" I said, "That's the only time I can do it. That's when I can fit it in." He said, "Yo, man, but my family, yo, man, you getting in the middle of my family." I'm like, "Damn, cuz I don't want to get in the middle of the family." Translate to today. I said, "Yo, I don't have nothing to do. We could pick anytime to do this." And out of everything that you said, I thought about you. We filming at the exact same time as when I did it all along. Yeah, yeah, I can't stand you, yo. I can't stand you, Nick, yo. I'm not even messing. That's all right because I'm gonna pour myself a drink in a second. Uh, and we're gonna get to it. You feel me? All right, let's get to it. All right, so once again, we got week 11 in the books. So we're just gonna recap. It wasn't a lot of games. Did you watch a bunch of the games?
I watched a good amount of them. Yeah,
To me, even looking at it, I was like, it's not gonna be that many like real good games. So I wasn't really hype about this week.
right.
But I'm pouring some bitters in my with my whiskey too. You don't know nothing about that. I'm sophisticated now. I just want you to know.
Okay, okay. What kind of
Sophisticated.
whiskey? What kind of whiskey you sipping on there?
I got a little Glenfiddich.
Look at you. All right,
Listen, I told you I'm sophisticated now, yo. I told you
all
this.
right. I see you.
This ain't the same thing that you remember.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump right into it. The Ravens, they swept the season series with the Bengals. Joe Burrow tore a ligament in his wrist. He's done for the year. It was a rough week. I'm mad because I gotta take the Bengals out of where I thought they were. I was like, because I said all of this about the Bengals being back and everything, and now this is what goes down. But it's whatever.
No.
Well, Joe Burrow in his last game was 11 for 17 for 101 yards and a touchdown. And I don't even know their backup. Who is it? Jake Browning is their backup. Wow. Jake Browning was 8 for 14 for 68 yards and one touchdown. Joe Mixon had 16 carries for 69 yards. And their leading receiver actually had 4 receptions for 49 yards, and that was Tanner Hudson. All right. And then for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Why you laughing at Tanner Hudson, man?
Some random ass names, man.
Hey, he was doing his thing. He got 49 yards, yo. Good. Shout
Sure
out to
did.
shout
Shout out to Tanner. I
out.
see you out there, boy.
Lamar Jackson has with 16 of it for 26 for 264, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Gus Edwards hit him led them with 12 receptions for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Odell had his first 100-yard game, and I want to say like 3 or 4 years. But he had 4 receptions, 116 yards, no scores, but Nelson Aguilar had a score and Rashad Bateman had a score. So what you think? What you take from this game?
Well, first off, you Barrow going down, you hate to see it, right? Jake Browning coming in, he put up some respectable numbers. I mean, the Bengals, they won't go anywhere this year, but I mean, for him to come out and put up those numbers, it certainly was respectable. Joe Mixon looked great. Joe Mixon finally got it going on in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But not only on the Bengals side, but more importantly on the Ravens side, you end up losing Mark Andrews for the year.
True. That's
For a
true.
team that looks is definitely going to the playoffs and top 5 in power rankings. You know what's going to become of that? That's Lamar Jackson's safety blanket. So it'll be interesting to see how Isaiah Likely fits into that role and if the offense can keep rolling from here on out. I mean, you brought up Odell Beckham. He
Mm-hmm.
had a touchdown in the last 2 weeks, and then he puts up the 100-yard game. I mean, he was looking great, but then at the end of that game, I think he banged up his shoulder or something on one of the later plays in the fourth quarter. So, and he's older now too. So,
Mm-hmm.
who's to say he can stay healthy throughout the rest of the year? Zay Flowers, he looked sharp, had a 60-yard touchdown that was called back from that like phantom hold from Odell Beckham. But we'll see what this offense looks like going forward.
Yeah, so like for the Ravens, this is exactly what you want to see. Because I think Zay Flowers has been better than Ravens fans would have hoped. Like I don't think anybody thought he would have been consistently, like, you know what I mean, a problem for defenses in his rookie year. So the fact that he is, if you can get Odell back to him getting 80 yards a game, the Ravens now look like a real true Super Bowl contender because they got a top 3 defense. They have somebody who really should be in the MVP conversation, maybe on his way to a second MVP in Lamar Jackson. I know you said Mark Andrews going out, but they still have like two. They had a 3 running back rotation anyway, so they still have 2 backs. So I look at the Ravens and I'm saying this actually looks really good for the Ravens. You know what I mean? It's very unfortunate for the Bengals because I think they're done. You know what I mean? I don't see where this is it. But I remember saying this a couple times. So like me being a Colts fan, I watched this up close and personal when Andrew Luck was playing and he was carrying, you know what I mean, our team, and they never got him an offensive line, but they got him wide receivers. And it shortened his career because you can't ask somebody to take these hits. You know, you can't ask your quarterback to continuously take these hits. And he won a playoff. Joe Burrow won a playoff game in which he is now the record holder for most sacks for a team that won a playoff game. He got sacked 9 times in the playoff game and won the game. You know, that's crazy. So I think not Ravens, excuse me, the Bengals looking at next year, I think they should look at trading one of their weapons to get more offensive linemen for Joe Burrow. I just think if you have when you look at weapons to offensive line, your wide receivers are dependent on the offensive line to give them time to do what they do anyway. And what Joe Burrow has done has been remarkable with the not too much talent on that offensive line. You know what I mean? But what he's done is remarkable. But I think I would use those weapons to get him some offensive linemen.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they just pay T Higgins this past offseason?
No, he's looking for a contract in this
This year?
upcoming season.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So
I would agree then. You gotta move those pieces and build that offensive line if you want him to have a long career. Yeah.
yeah, actually, see, I have like, see, I didn't even say nothing crazy on that. The crazy thing that I'm saying is I would trade Jamar Chase.
What?
Yeah, sounds
You're
crazy,
out
right?
of your mind.
It sounds
No,
crazy, right? Sound crazy.
that's crazy. Nope.
Listen. First of all, we both agree offensive linemen are more important than than wide receivers. Jamar Chase is a
Agreed.
top 5 wide receiver. Now I'm gonna
Is
ask
not
you,
is did you say is not a top five?
absolutely positively a top 5 wide receiver.
Yes.
Okay, so in your knowledge of the NFL, name some top 5 wide receivers that won the Super Bowl while they were top 5 wide receivers.
Uh, I don't know. I would have to look into it, but
So I'm gonna give you some names of who
give me some names. Yeah, what
Jerry
you
Rice
got?
did. Jerry Rice
Right.
did. Michael Irvin did. If you want to go back way back when, you could say like Lynn Swan did, but
Oh shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
you
that's
going
way
back?
back when. You see what I'm saying? So debatably, depending on how you view them, you could say Marvin Harrison if you think he was a when the Colts won it in 2007 that he was a top 5 wide receiver. I'm not going to debate you. I mean that's debatable, and possibly Cooper Kupp if you felt
Sure.
like he was a top 5 wide receiver at the time. I actually
Sure.
don't think Cooper Kupp was a top 5 wide receiver at the time. But point being, Super Bowls are not won with top 5 wide receivers. That's it. Randy Moss don't have no rings. T.O. don't have no rings. You know what I mean? Like all these,
They were in the Super Bowl though.
they were in the Super Bowl, but no rings. So
Right.
that's basically what I'm saying. It's not about the lack of or the hype or lack thereof of how I see Jamar Chase. It's just I think if you really want a Super Bowl for Joe Burrow, you might have to part ways with that. You got to give up something that you don't want to give up to have that.
Fair enough. I think there's other ways you could probably find a way to build that offensive line, but you know,
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, cool. So we're gonna move on. Staying in the AFC North. Yo, when in the beginning of the season, when you looked at the AFC North, did you look at them and say, if no with no injuries, any one of those 4 teams could win the division? Because right now, when you look at it, if you take back all the injuries, any one of those 4 teams could win that division.
well, I from the beginning, I never thought the Steelers had a chance. So where the Steelers are at now is most surprising to me. I mean, the Browns, I thought had a chance. They had a great defense. All these teams in the AFC North, right? NFC North. I'm sorry. All these teams have great defenses, but the thing that separated the 3 teams from me was quarterback Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson.
Right. I see
Sean
what
Wa-
you're saying.
Right. So I didn't think the Steelers had a chance to be where they're at currently at
Okay.
6-4.
Okay. But like looking at it, like now I'm going to Steelers Browns. Um, and I'm just looking at like I didn't, you know what I mean? These teams are tough either way. But the Browns went in and handled business, beating the Steelers even after Deshaun Watson goes out for the year. They handled business and they did what they had to do. Kenny Pickett was 15 of 28 for 106 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, 106 yards. That's terrible. Uh, um, Jalen Warren led them in rushing. He had 9 carries for 129 yards and a touchdown. And George Pickens had 4 receptions for 38 yards, and that's pretty much. Yeah, one other guy that had 20 yards, and that's pretty much it for what they did in the air.
Deontay Johnson, right? 2
Yep,
receptions, 20 yards.
yep,
Yep.
yep. So going over to the Browns, Dorian Thompson Robinson was the quarterback. He was 24 or 43, 165 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Kareem Hunt led them in rushing, 12 carries for 36 yards. Jerome Ford had 1 touchdown. And Elijah Moore had 6 receptions for 60 yards. And Njoku had 56 yards. And that's basically what happened there. So talk to me about this game, the Browns, the Steelers, what you seeing. Talk to me.
Classic NFC North game. Defense, field goals, 1 touchdown game.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking boring. The Steelers, you know how I feel about these.
Defensive games are boring.
They
See, that's the problem with you offensive guys.
I'm
Y'all
so
think low scoring games are
no, no, no.
bad that we can stop you.
Like I said, it's classic NFC North game, and you know where we grew up, we get these games all the time. If
Yes.
if the Eagles
Yes.
aren't on,
Yes.
these are the games that are on TV, and so you've seen it a million times, at least from where we're from. Thank God the Steelers lost. I just can't stand this team. I can't stand Kenny Pickett. And it seems like they continue to go up against a team that don't have their starting quarterback or their quarterback is garbage. They just see terrible, terrible quarterbacks all throughout the season, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo, Will Levis. Next week they'll see Jake Browning against the Bengals. That's why they have the record that they have, 6-4. So Steelers, glad they lost, but both teams, great D, not enough offensive power. I do think the Steelers have the offensive skill players, but you know they're not they're not getting the ball on the outside. Najee Harris is saying that the team's offense is too predictable. I fucking love that. That's great. That reminds me of my high school coach.
Don't
But
even bring him. No, he will not. No, don't say his name. He will not get on the show. He will not get on the show.
I mean, the defenses are on the other side calling out the plays. So you know, Najee Harris.
I just tell people when we was in high school, we ran a wing T offense. Ran offenses, and we was running a wing T.
What happens when a defensive lineman is calling the offense plays?
Yeah, yeah, this is
But
awful. This
moving
is awful.
forward, the running game for the Steelers have come on late. Jaylen Warren looks good, over 100 yards in 2 games. I think they need to get him the ball more. He's just more explosive. He has more runs over, 20. I think Najee Harris has like 3 games over 20 with he has like 3 games with runs over 20 yards, like 3 runs over 20 yards, and I think his longest run is 25 yards this year. So Jaylen Warren, I think they need to get the ball 2 more, but QB problems on that team, QB problems on both teams. Defense is all they got, but I think the Ravens are top tier in this division.
So Nick, first of all, remember when the Wildcat came back for that year, for about like that year, like 8 games. Remember when the Wildcat, that old offense, and it came back and you guys ran it and y'all went to the playoffs with everything. I'm
Oh
seeing
yeah,
I'm seeing a resurgence of the wing T offense, man. Let's get this. Y'all stop playing.
let's bring it back.
Let's get to it. Send that back to
Oh,
the
Steelers need to run
backs.
the wing
Three
too.
running backs on the field at the same time. Three. Oh man. All right. So first of all, I just want you to know, and you're not gonna love this, but the Steelers are gonna be in the playoffs this year. Steelers, like at 6-4, when you look at the teams behind them and how many games above them that they are right now, yo, the Steelers are gonna be in the playoffs, bro. I just want you to prepare yourself for that. So I don't have much on the Steelers, but in terms of the Browns, I don't like, I don't like it. Like my mind like shifts when a team loses a starting quarterback and they win. Like that's like, my mind is not ready for things like that to happen. You're supposed to be a lot worse. You know what I mean? Even 13 points against a Steelers offense is remarkable. That's their third string, because they had PJ Walker was their backup originally this whole year. So that's like their third string quarterback. So that's like remarkable what they're doing. We're going to talk about them a little bit later, but I am curious to see where their season goes, because that defense is outstanding. And which one call it from their defensive end, can't think of his name right now. Give me 1 second.
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. That's defense player of the year, man. That he is. Did you see when he's like doing crossovers against
He's doing it
he's
all.
doing crossovers while they're in motion and stuff and just
He's
doing
doing it
whatever he
all.
wants to do. He's amazing. He's amazing. So I'm curious. I have more curiosity about the Browns, but the Steelers are going to be in the playoffs, bro. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So moving on to the game of the week, the Eagles and the Chiefs. That was a really good game. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And finally, a game worth talking about.
Yeah, I told you last week was a rough week. But Chiefs. So Pat, he was 24-43 for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Isaiah Pacheco was 19 carries for 89 yards. By the way, did you know Isaiah Pacheco is from Vineland?
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. And whatchamacallit, Watson, what's his first name? Justin Watson was 5 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown, and Travis Kelce also had a touchdown. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts was 14-22, 150 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a pick. DeAndre Swift had 12 carries, 76 yards and touchdown, but Jalen Hurts also had 2 rushing touchdowns. And Devontae Smith had 6 receptions for 99 yards, and of course they had no touchdowns. But also their new safety, Kevin Byard, also had a pick against Pat. That was the pick, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So Super Bowl rematch, did it live up to the hype? What do you think happened? How we get to this conclusion?
Before I start there, you want to hear the bad beat of the week? Here it is.
How you come on the show? Listen, can I say this? Can I say this? Because a lot of people, when they come on the show, they're like, I don't know if I can do something. I don't know if I should do something. You be like, nah, this is a whole new segment. I'm doing it. And I don't be ready for it. I'm like, yo, I'm all for this shit. Do it right now.
Bad beat of the week. Here it is. I had Devontae Smith for 100 yards and a touchdown. He gets that pass. He gets pulled down on the 1 yard line. 1 yard short of 100. 1 yard short of a touchdown.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Fuck yeah.
How much were you going to win if he did that?
It was a pretty penny, man. It was nice.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Bad beat of the week. Moving on. Eagles are 9-1 because of this offensive line. Number one. I mean the brotherly shove, so they call it, best play in the league.
Can I say that that's
unstoppable?
A crazy name to give something. The brotherly shove, yeah.
That's what that
outlandish name to give.
I mean, shit, nobody does it better than them. You know, they're unstoppable at doing it.
Sure.
They beat the Dolphins because of that play on 4th and 1.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot.
Well, besides the 10 penalties to 0, but we're not going to go there. That 4th and 1 play in the fourth quarter, 4th and 1 in their own territory, being able to go for it is what changed the whole aspect of the game. They got to punt that ball. Miami comes back and scores a touchdown easily. But that play is remarkable. They shouldn't get rid of it. It's a weapon. They should be allowed to use it. A.J. Brown, 1 catch for 8 yards. That was surprising to me. That 1 interception that Jalen Hurts threw, A.J. Brown waited for the receiver to get up, stripped the ball from him. Mm-hmm. What a play. Too bad his shin had touched the defensive backs. But I was hoping that it didn't, because him having the awareness to wait for that receiver to get up and then strip the ball from him was awesome. Again, too bad that his leg hit him. But the Chiefs, Mahomes, gift and a curse this guy is. They need to start getting the ball to Isaiah Pacheco some more. The guy had 89 yards, most yards, I think, against the Eagles all year running the ball. He runs hard, man. Absolutely. He's running people. Yes. He runs hard. And he looked great the other night. I know the weather was it was raining out. That seems to help the offense at times, but that man was running hard. He deserves to get the ball more. They don't use him in the passing game. The passing game, if Kelce's not on, nobody. They got nobody. They got Rashee Rice, but they don't use him enough either. I mean, they use him around the goal line. They use these quick dump off passes to him. They got to get him going. They need to start getting these other weapons going, because again, if Kelce's not on and Kelce's not getting over 100 yards and top tier tight end for the week, they're not winning. So again, Mahomes, a gift and a curse. They need to change that offense around a little bit, but impressive win by the Eagles, and yeah, there it is.
So I look at this game and I say I feel like the Chiefs might have lost this game more than I feel like the Eagles won it. So I don't. When I look at Pat, even going back to last year when they won the Super Bowl, to me, in my opinion, that was the worst wide receiver core to ever win a Super Bowl. They've like, yes, it is a gift and a curse, but that's having a top quarterback. You want it until you got to pay it, and now all of a sudden you can't have everything. And having that defense and having that running game and having Travis Kelce, they're like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? That's kind of what you have to say. All right, cool. I'm not gonna have very
Well,
good wide
I,
receivers.
I don't mean to cut you off, but that's what I mean. You got to give the ball to Pacheco more. I think, what do you have? 12, 13 carries? That's it?
Oh, he had 19.
Oh, fair
Yeah,
enough.
he had 19 carries.
Uh,
But
Give
like,
him 25.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Wing T offense. um, yo, all right, but here's two things that happened in the game. One, you saw Marquez Valdez-Scantling drop the pass that Pat hit him right in his hands. If Pat hit him right in his hand, you got to catch that. I'm sorry, you're a wide receiver. It hits your hands. You have to catch it. Okay. He drops that. That would have been a touchdown. And then Travis Kelce, if you remember, fumbled the ball when they were going in to score. That's 14 points right there. I know that you're like, you got to change the offense. You got to do. Listen, you can't have turnovers, and the wide receivers have to figure out how to execute. I still would rather have this problem than not having an offensive line, but this is what that problem looks like, you know? So I don't think the offense needs to be completely revamped, but like the wide receivers have to feel pressure to execute on like these small things that they have to do. You know, that's why you're there, you know? That's why you're there. Okay, you're fast. People think you're the most athletic thing in the world. Nobody can touch you. Yo, catch the ball.
Well, that's Tony too, right? That's Kadarius Tony dropping the ball. Why not get Rashee Rice more involved? Guy had 4 catches, 42 yards. Seems to be his stat line each week. He's a rookie. Seems like he seems promising as a wide receiver, but I don't think he's getting the opportunities that he probably should.
So let's say you're right, and now they do that, and now defenses shift and say, "All right, well now we're going to target Rashee Rice." So do you tell me he's good enough to can maintain that,
Well, then you got Travis Kelce. You still got Kelce.
but Kelce is good enough to, you know what I mean, be like, all right, I got to stop Travis Kelce, and he can still do what he does. Like these
Right,
wide
but
receivers
that's
are not good enough to do that.
you got to get these other players involved because if it's not Kelce getting over 100 yards, you need to find these other players within that offense that's going to help you win games.
Yeah, so in my this is what I'm saying. In this game, in my opinion, that's what he was doing, and they dropped the ball and they lost. You know what I mean? So like you have to you have to have confidence and rely on them to make the play. You know what I mean? But they have to make the play. Or just like we're having this conversation, you look bad.
Right. Agree.
So that's that. You know what I'm saying? That was
Don't
week.
matter for the Eagles. A win's a win, no matter how you get it, right?
Oh, I'll take an ugly win over an ugly loss any day of the
Right.
week. Any day of the week, I'm taking it. So, so that was week 11 in the books. I didn't want to, like I said, it wasn't a lot of games, so we wasn't going to go over too many games. But, Nick, I heard you got a gripe again. So apparently, you still stuck on this whole Tua is this, Tua is this. You didn't like my take. You here to tell me and cuss at me and tell me, Reek, you motherfucker.
You're on here last week. This is you from last week, right?
Let me sit back with my drink while you play me.
Yeah, yeah. Take a sip of your drink. I pretend to be you for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Nick talking about.
I didn't say Nick. I did not say Nick. I never said Nick.
Yeah, you said
I
Nick on
said
here.
Nick. I said people.
People on here talking.
If you gonna do me, you do me right.
Nick. We'll have to go back. We'll have to check the audio. Uh, but yeah. Talking about that, Tua is the most accurate quarterback. Still is the most accurate quarterback in the league. I stand by. Most athletic, best quarterback, not even close. Most accurate, I still stand by. I mean, to get just to get Tyreek the ball in stride. Come on, man. You got to lead this guy like 10 yards. If you're not an accurate quarterback, you're not doing that. So that's that. But you also came at my Dolphins about how they're easy to be figured out. They can't run the ball. But little do you know, they've changed their offensive line. They've had 5 different offensive line combos this year. So they can't seem to get that together. You take that look off your face, bro. Take it off your face. All right. And it's just false, man. They can run the ball. You give Mostert looks good, man. You keep giving him the ball, they're gonna be fine. They who was it against? The Chiefs. You know, they came out the first half, tried doing the passing, Tyreek Hill, giving him his revenge game. Switched it up second half, turned the ball to on the ground and pound, looked way better. Defense shut them down. They just came up short at the end. Offensive snap, fumble. You know, I'm not worried about it. If there's such thing as a good loss, those are good losses. I'll take them. They'll be fine.
Right. So I'm gonna try to give you because I want to give you time to rebuttal because I know you just a loudmouth motherfuckers. I know you want to talk again. So we got about 9 minutes on this one. So Dolphins are 7-3. You are 7-0 against teams that are below 500 and 0-3 against teams that are 500 or better. Let's stay on those 3 losses for 1 second.
Let's talk about those 3 teams real quick. Before you go back to your notes.
Go ahead.
Who we got?
The
Eagles,
teams, the Eagles,
Chiefs. Who's that other one? Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, Bills.
Eagles,
3
Chiefs,
losses right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So you remember what I said to beat the Dolphins, even when y'all put up 70 against Denver. I said a team that can take away defensively, can take away those big plays, and has a quarterback that can play better than Tua is going to be able to beat the Dolphins all the time. So when you say, I said, oh, they're just so easy to figure out. Yeah, they're easy to figure out because all you got to do is be better than their quarterback, and that's not too hard. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you was a top 5 accurate quarterback, right? I'm not saying you got to beat every good team. But you have to beat some good teams, okay? And every time he's played a good team, they have lost. Now, my question to you is, and now don't answer this in a way that basically says you try and prove your point. Was any of those games, was it the defense? Was it the coaching?
No.
So that puts, if it wasn't the defense and it wasn't the coaching, there's worse offensive lines than the one that you have, unfortunately, for teams that even won. Okay, so Joe Burrow is able to do something with a bad offensive line. His offensive line.
You go to one of the worst, but go ahead, continue.
I went to one of the worst to
kind
of prove the point. All I'm saying is, if it's not the coaching, it's not the defense. That's a lot to give a quarterback that has to basically just not fuck it up. Okay, now you're telling me he's one of the top 5 accurate. Yo, if Tua became a free agent today, would the market for Tua be big or small? For the fact that he's going to ask for like $45 million a year.
What are you asking me?
If Tua was a free agent today, which he will be at the end of this season,
right? Should he get paid the big money?
Is his market like? Are teams going to say, "I'll pay Tua"? Like, is that market for the team to say, "I'll absolutely pay Tua $45 million a year"? Is that going to be a big amount of teams?
Somebody's going to want Tua.
I didn't say somebody. I said, is it a lot of teams or a little bit of teams?
There's a lot of teams.
Ain't no goddamn lot of teams.
There's a lot of teams that are going to want Tua as their starting quarterback. Are you kidding me?
Who?
What?
All right, listen, real quick. Okay.
More than half the teams out there. Let's start with the Raiders. The Raiders would love Tua as a quarterback.
They're rebuilding, but possibly. The Bills wouldn't take him. The Jets wouldn't take him. The Patriots.
The Jets wouldn't take him? If the Jets wouldn't take him.
Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we think he's coming back.
The Jets would not take him.
Guy's 60 years old.
The Patriots wouldn't take him.
Patriots would definitely take him.
The Patriots would not take him. The Chiefs wouldn't take him. The Broncos wouldn't take him. The Raiders, you say that, I tend to disagree.
Broncos wouldn't take him because they paid. They
Yes,
paid,
yes, but they
but
would not take him. The Chargers
okay.
would not take him. The Ravens would not take him. The Browns, Deshaun Watson's coming back.
They
No,
would take
they're not
him.
going to take him. They would not take him. Deshaun Watson's
Well,
coming back.
they paid Deshaun, so they can't.
The
Would take him.
Steelers might take him because they're in a situation where they're like, yo, if we had somebody that just
All
went.
right, all right, all right. I got your point.
The point is, if he was a top 5 accurate quarterback and he was this good, teams would be biting. Like if Patrick Mahomes became a free agent today, every single team, even if you had a quarterback, would be like, nah, go get Pat.
But you're arguing two different things. First off, you contradicted yourself by saying that the only thing a team needs to do to beat the Dolphins is be better than Tua. But then you said
And has a
that
defense that can
the
take away the
defense
next
was
play.
good, the play calling was good. So you got to beat more than just Tua with the Dolphins. It's not all Tua. He's got great receivers. He got good
No,
play
no, no.
calling.
What
You
I'm
got
saying,
to beat.
what I said was, if you have a defense that can take away the big play without like clearly abandoning the run,
They still
then
got to
in
run
that
game.
situation, if you have a quarterback that can play better than Tua, the Dolphins are in trouble. That's what I said.
No, if you have a quarterback that can play better than Tua, the team's not in trouble. They still got a great defense. They're finally coming together. Ramsey looks great out there, so I don't agree with that point. But the other thing is with Tua being the most accurate, you're cramming accuracy in with talent of a quarterback. I'm not saying he's the most talented quarterback. I'm not saying that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'm saying he's the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Okay,
All right, Colt. You know who
okay,
else was
okay,
a
okay.
great accurate
So I have a
quarterback?
question.
Colt
I have a
McCoy.
question for a quarterback. I have a
Colt McCoy.
quarterback question for a quarterback. I have a quarterback question for a quarterback. Arm strength being another example. What are the talents that a quarterback has? And we know, and we've learned arm strength is actually way down there in terms of
Pocket presence,
okay.
agility, being able to read defenses. Uh, what else we got? I don't know.
Okay,
We could.
we can
That's three. That's three right
leave it
there.
there. We can even leave it there. Are you telling me if he's that great at because he clearly has some deficiencies and arm strength really isn't? He's got an average arm, so I'm not taking arm. Are you telling me he's that bad in terms of his pocket presence or agility or ability to read defenses? Because there's got to be a reason why he loses to good teams. And before he had all this talent, he was not carrying it. You watched it just like I did.
This whole losing to good teams too thing is a narrative that started this year. All right. 0-3 this year. He only played the Bills once so far. He's beaten the Bills before. Not a great record against them, but it's only been one game. That's a divisional game. And then Eagles, they're 9-1. Nobody's beaten them. And that was a touchdown game where they lost. They had to deal with 10 penalties to 0. And then the Chiefs came down to the end. The Chiefs came down to the end. Bad snap exchange, fumble. He was driving down. Yeah, he hasn't had those big moments yet, but I'm confident they'll come.
Listen, man, we go and see about that.
We will.
I respect your analysis of quarterbacks as always. You already know that. I just think you got a bias on this one. I'm not
Yeah,
seeing what
fair
you
enough.
I'm not seeing what you see.
Okay.
Well, moving on to another subject. Something happened. I don't know what that was. Moving on to the next subject matter at hand. Bro, I need your top 10 power rankings. I need to know, and once again, just so everybody's clear, this don't mean who you saying is the best teams, who's going to advance, and where everybody's going to be. Just right now, give me the order of who's playing the best right now.
Oh, I'm saying this is the best teams.
Okay, well, you can do that
Nah.
too. Like, just take over the show. Go ahead. I'm gonna just sit this. You go ahead and do what you do, yeah.
All right, number 10. I had this could go offense or defense, but I'm an offense minded guy, so I'm gonna go to Jags at number 10. This might be the surprising one at number 9. I'm taking the Texans. I like the Texans over the Jags. They're looking good. I like CJ Stroud. Think he's got something going on there. Devin Singletary in the backfield looking good. Producing something that Damian Pierce couldn't do in the beginning of the year. Number 8, we got the Bills. 7, we got the Cowboys. 6, Lions. That's your squad. They're looking good too, man.
I
The
told you,
Lions are looking
listen, I'm not, I
good.
don't want y'all to think that's my squad. I'm
That's your
telling you,
squad. They're
I was
looking
early
good,
on
bro. I
that. I
like
was
that
just
pick.
early on that.
Yeah, I like that pick,
You
man.
see, you see who's on me right now, okay? Stop
I
playing
know. I
see
see.
who's on me.
I see. I like the Lions, though, man. They look good. That that
Told you.
that backfield reminds me of Kamara and
Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram, right? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
power and
Listen,
finesse type.
if they would have got a defensive end, like they'd have got like Chase Young or something, like just, they might have been able to do it. But
Well, Aiden, that Hutchinson, man, he's solid, bro. He
he's
don't
solid,
have,
but you need more than just one pass rusher. You need more than one.
yeah, you're right. That's why they're at 6. Number 5, we got my Dolphins staying in the top 5. Number 4, we got the Chiefs. Number 3, I got the Ravens. I think they may be a little bit high. We'll see. We'll see how they progress in the coming weeks on that offense, but that defense is certainly top 3, like you said earlier. Number 2, Niners. They seem to be getting back on track, looking good. And then number 1, I have the Eagles. Well deserved.
Oh, that's a good list. You know, one thing I love about the power rankings is this, like it takes away from the conversation being about the top of the teams and puts it more towards the bottom end of it because that's the only thing to really talk about because we're gonna pretty much agree on the top part of this list.
Right, right.
Um, but so I'm taking the Browns out of my top 10 only because I don't know what to do with them. I know they just won, and
I'm
I
at
don't
11.
know what to do with them.
That
So
was that was they were 11. Yeah, it was them and the Jags.
just a week ago, the Browns had their quarterback in, the Bengals had their quarterback in. I was like, this is easy, but whatever. I gotta pull them out. Now, I know everybody gonna love this, but I got a tie. I got a tie for 10, and I'm keeping it that way.
Ty,
I
stop,
got a tie for
stop.
10, and I'm keeping it that way.
Give your balls a tug. Make a pick.
And I'm keeping it that way too. Okay.
Make a pick.
And I'm keeping it that way.
Stop. Make
Listen,
a pick.
I got the Bills and the Seahawks at 10. And the Bills would be higher for me, but the Bills are inconsistent, and I don't like inconsistent teams. Josh Allen is inconsistent. I was actually just talking about him last week, and I was just like, he's not average, but if you look at the sum result of his games, he's like excellent, then he's terrible, which if you took the sum of it is average. So I would love when I'm still trying to figure out who they are. I don't think they know who they are. So we'll see. So going in at number 9, I got the Houston Texans. Listen. I did a whole post. I don't even know if you saw it. I did a whole post basically apologizing to CJ Stroud. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? I
Yeah.
had to apologize to him. I said he was going to be a bust, and I'm like, well, he's clearly not that.
Yeah.
so then I got the Texans at 8. Then I have the Jags.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who do you have at 8? You said the Texans were at 9. I think you said
Excuse me, Texans at
Texans
9.
at 8.
Excuse me, I got the Jags at 8. I got the Jags at 8.
Okay.
I don't know. It feels like they could be being slept on a little bit, but I don't know. It's just something about them I'm just not feeling.
The Jags?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Me too.
I know they don't have a pass rush, and that's going to bite them in the ass. But it's just something about them, like their identity. I'm just like, I should. A little off.
Trevor Lawrence.
Possibly, I don't know. So then for my number 17, I got the Dolphins.
Yours isn't even in the top 10, so it's all good to me, man.
That's okay. Once again, I don't like inconsistent teams, and I like well-rounded teams. And the Dolphins have to play a certain way to win, and I know it. So then at number 6, I got the Cowboys. Their record says that they probably should be a little higher, but I don't know, something about them. Like, and I think people are going to overreact because I expect them to beat the Eagles the next time, but that's because they're in the same division. Division teams usually don't sweep. Good division teams usually don't sweep the other good division teams. So I think people are going to overreact to that, and I see that coming, and that's where that is. So then next, I have the Detroit Lions. That's at 5. Right now, I'm just seeing it. It's not that I feel I don't like I in any way, shape, or form taking a step back off of them. I just think these teams are playing better than them right now. You know what I mean? There's less holes on these teams, and they're playing better, and there's more things that I trust right this second. Which leads me right into number 4, which is the Baltimore Ravens. The only thing I don't love about the Ravens, if Odell can, like I said, all he got to do is get like 80 yards a game. If he does that, the only thing I don't really love is their pass rush. And it's not that it's not like really, really, really good. It's just they have to play, you know what I mean, to do certain things and scheme wise to make it, you know what I mean, to get pressure on the quarterback. And it's not as easy for them. Either way, number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a lot that I trust about them. This is the best defense that Pat has ever had, probably. But once again, that wide receiver core. But I actually think that that's going to work itself out. I think that that's going to work itself out, and yeah. But right now, I say the Chiefs are 3. Number 2, I'm going to go with the 49ers. Even when let me ask you, even when they went on that 3-game like skid, were you like, oh, the 49ers have been figured out, or like they're going to fall off now or anything? Did you feel like that about them?
No, not at all. I figured they would get it.
Yeah. Like I was like,
I
okay, yeah.
deal with a couple injuries during that time too, between like Debo.
Debo Samuel was out. One of their offensive linemen was out. So
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. It was Trent Williams. Trent
Trent
Williams
Williams, yep.
Trent Williams was out, Debo was out. I mean, more was on Brock Purdy than he is able to take. But like now that everybody's back, is like, oh, I expect this to happen. And number 1, to no surprise, is the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm actually a little surprised at this point in the season that they are at this point, because coming from last year to this year, like they gave up their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. It's not that the talent wasn't there; it was just like the system and the culture is changed. You know what I mean? Coming in this year, for them to be like the top team in the league right now, this far in the season, I do shout out. You know what I mean? And for me, if I was to give an argument for Jalen Hurts being an MVP this year, it would be that. You know, you don't just replace offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, and act like we just not going to take a step back. And they didn't.
Well, yeah, well, it's certainly impressive what they've done, especially after a Super Bowl year where teams notoriously, are supposed to fall off at least a little bit. And here they are with a 9-1 record. But again, that offensive line, you dominate games with a good offensive line. Defensive line is solid. So I think that's where they win in the trenches for sure.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. And I think that still helps a quarterback more than, you know what I mean, anything. Even having a great defensive line, it's just like
Absolutely.
like in the first half against the Chiefs made them look average, made that defense look average. It was that defensive line saying, "Okay, this is what they're trying to do. Let me take a step up on this, or take this angle," and things. Those little kind of tweaks that like really made it hard for them to score. And they didn't even score in the second half. So it's not many times Patrick Mahomes is not scoring in the second half.
against the Dolphins.
against the Dolphins. I'm not even going to advance it because I want you to have that. I want you to have that. So
Have it.
against the
Have
Dolphins would be the other team that he did not score in the second half.
There you go.
All right. All right. Well, that was the power rankings thus far.
Hey, we weren't far off on a lot of them.
No, I didn't think so. But I don't care that you didn't like that I had a tie. I want you to know that I had a tie. Okay. And I'm sticking with it. And I feel great about it too. But I feel real good about it. Like, hold on.
It's top 10, not top
Let me
not
sit back
top
and
9
give
and
my
a tie. It's not top 9 and a tie. It's top 10.
Well, great, man. I'm be honest. I heard what you said. It didn't even matter. Did you see? Like my face was still on vacation. Did you see that?
Fair enough.
Okay, so we're going into the week 12 picks. Let's. Oh, before I go to week 12, I want to ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Are the Broncos a playoff threat at all?
Ooh, I like that question. What does their schedule look like? I guess would be my question. What
I will tell you who they got. Broncos, their remaining schedule is they just beat the Vikings. They're home against the Browns this week. Then they go to Houston. Then they go to the Chargers. Then they go to Detroit. Then they're home against the Patriots. Then they're home against the Chargers, and then they're home against the Raiders.
All right. Well, let's go through it. Let's go through it real quick. Let's see let's see what we think their record will be. So they won 4 straight, correct? Because they started
Yes.
what? Like 0-4.
Yeah.
They're 5-5 right now.
Yes.
All right. So Browns.
No, they started. They lost two because they. No, three. They beat the Bears, so they started off 1-3.
1-3. Okay. Even so, they're 5-5 now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First week, Browns.
I can see them beating the Browns.
You see them beating the Browns?
So the Browns have their third string quarterback. At some point, this got to start showing up. You know what I mean? Like
Are the Broncos home? Are the Broncos home?
Yes.
All right, we'll give them the win. We'll give them the win.
Okay. Then they go to
All right,
Houston.
that's one. Then who?
Then they go to Houston and play Texas.
That's a loss. That's a loss.
Okay. So okay.
They're 6-6.
All right. So I'm going to anticipate you saying they're going to split with the Chargers because they play the Chargers twice. That's what I would say.
They're gonna lose to the Chargers.
Are they going to split with them, or are the Chargers going to sweep them?
Chargers gonna sweep.
But the Chargers are 4-5. Like why?
It don't matter. Chargers gonna win that game.
Okay. So that's 3 losses. Then
Yeah.
they
6
go
and 7.
to Detroit.
That's a loss. 6-8.
That's 4 losses. Then they're home against the Patriots. That should be a win.
That's a win.
And they're home,
7-8.
and then they finish off the season going to the Raiders.
I think they can win that. 8-8.
Well, nah, that would make them 9-8. There's no 8-8 anymore.
Did we miss one then? Because
No,
they're 5-5.
There's 17 games. There's 17 games now.
Yeah, but did we miss one? I thought I was doing the record as we went.
Well, I looked at their losses. So, oh no, that would be 8-9.
So they'd be 8-9.
They would be 8-9.
Is 8-9 good enough to get them in the playoffs? Is the question. No, they're not a threat.
Okay. But you said a sweep though. I don't know if they get swept by the Chargers. I see. Like here's my thing. I got scars from the Chargers, and as you see, they lose to teams that they're supposed to beat all the time.
Okay, so if they beat the Chargers, right? That's the one game they can win, and then the other game the other game they could possibly win is against we said they would beat the Chargers or the Raiders,
Texans.
right?
The Texans is a game that I'm looking at and saying I mean, are
Do
we
you
just
think
gonna
the
act like? All
Broncos
right,
could
I get
finish?
it. I get it. The Texans are nice. Are we gonna act like the Texans are just like, oh, chalk them up as a victory against a team now? Or are they that kind of good now?
They're on a roll, man. They're hot. I mean, so are the Broncos, though,
Go
right?
on the
So
Broncos.
yeah. Uh,
I say there's two games on there that I'm like, maybe the Chargers and that Texans game are two games, and that could change it from 8-9 to 10-7.
yeah, but I think also against the Raiders, Raiders, playing for something with a new coach, they'll give them a hard time too. So that could go either way as well.
They gave y'all a
But no,
hard.
to answer your question, I don't think they're a playoff threat.
Okay, okay, cool. That's cool. I was just curious because
How about you? What's your analysis?
no, I don't think they're a playoff threat, but I do think they could be interesting. Like so I picked them to be in the playoffs in the beginning of this year, so I was wrong about that. But like I just didn't think that 2 years in a row that they would look like they did. Last year you know what I mean, they were bad. You know what I mean, and it was all this hype coming in. They got Russ. You know what I mean, Broncos Nation, let's ride, and all of that. And then
Yeah,
they fell on their face, and then they got Sean whatchamacallit,
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, and I'm like, well, yeah, now they got a Hall of Fame coach to go along with it. I expected something to turn around. So the fact that they were like 1-3 to start the season, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was like, I'm a little shocked by that.
Well, they
Most people were
certainly
not. I was. Most people were not.
they've certainly turned it around, and you ain't wrong that they haven't made playoffs just yet. They could still do it.
I mean, it's possible, but I just think, nah,
Yeah,
which is an interesting conversation about what's going to happen next year. Then, but let's get into these Week 12 picks. So we got Seattle and the 49ers. Now, when they played earlier, I feel as though the 49ers won, right?
sure they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 49ers won. So like, question is, are the 49ers going to sweep the Seahawks? Yes or no?
Well, the Niners are a touchdown favorite. Start there. I'm picking the Niners. You got a banged up Geno Smith, his throwing elbow. Who knows if he plays? I am excited to see Zach Charbonnet in the backfield, see what this kid's made of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's just too much for Seattle, and they've seen to be on a downward trend. So I'm going Niners.
So, is it fair to say that you think that that Seattle's not even going to make the playoffs?
Yeah. It may, especially if Geno's hurt. If Geno's hurt,
Oh, they have not played each other yet. So this is the first of those two
oh
games.
yeah, they play each other twice in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's in Seattle. I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks on this one. I don't think that the 49ers are gonna sweep them. Um, I think home cooking, you know what I mean, division rival.
You put your money on
No.
it?
This is a not exposing money prediction.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you this though.
I was gonna say I'll take that bet.
All right, so this is what I do. All right, if you're right, then I give you 20 push-ups. And if I'm right, I want 20 push-ups. You gotta film it though.
All right, fair enough.
That I would bet.
All right,
I give you 20
all right.
if they win.
Take up.
Okay. All right, cool. So damn, I had the Bengals and the Steelers as the game, and now all right, I'm gonna skip that because I'm gonna find another game.
No, no, no. Let's go over it. Let's go over it. Let's talk about it.
All right, Bengals versus Steelers. Who you got?
It pains me to say it. It fucking pains me to say it.
You know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. This is the point. This is why I didn't want to talk about it.
I know. Steelers -1.5. They'll win it. Bengal season, after losing your starting quarterback the following week, they're gonna be. I don't know that they can bounce back from this.
I shouldn't have let you talk me into it. But I do have another game now. This is gonna be more impromptu, and you ain't
Okay, who you got? Who you got?
no. I'm gonna finish it off.
Okay.
The Steelers are gonna win the game. Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right. So then let's go for the shocking surprise game of the week. Texans or Jaguars at Texans. And the Texans beat them the first time like convincingly.
Oh, that should be good.
So let's go. Jags at Texans. Who you got?
I got Texans.
You calling for the sweep? You think the Texans are that now? Listen, okay, I can tell now. Now I hear what you say. You real high on the Texans. You like
I'm high on them, man. I'm high on them.
You are like the Texans are not to be fucked with.
Yeah, I like them.
The Texans ain't to be fucked with, huh?
Listen, the only way the Jags win this game is if ETN can get going. Because Trevor Lawrence is not going to win again. Trevor Lawrence is not going to win this game like he won last week.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the Jags on this one. I'm gonna just let you know that right now.
Well, they're the favorites by 1.5.
I don't think the Texans are that team to sweep a motherfucker. You know what you gotta be to just sweep a motherfucker. Like you gotta be like I'm that. And I don't think they got that swag yet. I think they caught a lot of people by surprise. I don't think they that.
Yeah, the Jags did look good last week. They did.
Listen,
I'm high on the Texans. I can't put the Texans ahead of the Jags in my power rankings and then take the Jags.
You did put them ahead. Okay, that's your problem. Okay, I see your flaw. Okay. Yeah, the Texans aren't better than the Jags.
Well, the first game would say that they are.
Well, that's why when you play them again, this is why they usually don't sweep a team. Listen, okay.
You see the motivation too for the Texans. What are they? One game behind the Jags.
Like if they win this game, they might just win the division.
Oh, they certainly could.
They're not going to win.
There's a big game for them.
Not going to win the division, bro. Listen, I'm in the division. They're not going to win the division.
I might put my money on it.
To win the division?
Yeah, it's probably some pretty good odds.
Yo, don't lose your money, man. I love you, so don't lose your money. You see what I'm saying?
I lost plenty.
Yeah, I love you, so don't lose your money. All right, so I got another game now, and I don't know why I didn't see it. Actually, when I looked at it, I was like, how come I didn't see that? But the Bills are in Philly this week.
Yep, I got the Bills. That's one of Nick's picks this week. Bills +3. I got the Bills winning it.
So hold on, can I say the Bills might need this game?
The Bills win this game.
No. I think they need this game. So first of all,
that's what I mean. Yeah, they win this game because they need to win this game.
But did you see? Do you see like the Bills like remaining schedule?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I'm gonna tell it to you. Hold on. First of all, so right now they're 6-5, and they're in like the 11th seed right now. Here's their remaining schedule. So they beat the Jets. They were supposed to beat the Jets. So they got the Eagles. They in Philly this week. Then they in Kansas City next week. Then they home for Dallas. Then they got to go to the Chargers. Then they're home against the Patriots. Then they got y'all to finish out the season in Miami.
Awesome. Yeah.
There's some L on this schedule.
There certainly is.
There's some L. So like, and they're the 11th seed, and I'm like, they might need, like, if they lose to the Eagles, they have to beat pretty much everybody else.
Yeah. They'll beat New England, but
Yeah, but they got like y'all may not need the game, so that might be why they beat y'all because y'all may not need the game. But
maybe,
if y'all don't
maybe
need the game, if y'all don't need that game, or if y'all do need that game, I don't know if they're gonna beat because
we got
they beat y'all
we
the first time, so that would be the rematch. And
yeah yeah
I told you I don't like that situation. So if y'all need that game, I probably would pick y'all against the Chargers. The Chargers would need that game, although I don't trust them, but they would need that game. Then playing against the Cowboys is an interesting matchup for them, and the Chiefs kind of have their number.
yeah.
So that's what that is.
Well, that's why I got them this week winning. I think they can take it this week. Yeah,
All right, well, I mean, you
they're
said
at least they're at least they're at least covering that +3 on a push. Uh, or winning it, but I'm taking Bills +3. Knicks picks.
all right, Knicks picks. Let's go. Talk to me. Talk to me. You got what you got?
Knicks,
What you got?
Knicks picks. I got two. I only got two this week. I got Bills +3. You'll be surprised at this next one. You want to try and guess it?
Out of every game,
Yeah, true. That's pretty difficult. Here it is. Jets +9.5.
who the Jets got?
Jets got Dolphins
The
at
Dolphins.
home. Yep.
Okay, I can see that.
Jets are at home. They
I can
cover
see
the
that. Y'all
they
in the
cut
division. Y'all in the
they
division.
cut
I can see that.
yeah in division 9.5 against that defense. I think they keep it close.
I can see that. That's a good pick.
Yep.
That's a good pick. You know what, Nick? You know you.
Knicks picks, baby.
I might have to
Your
give.
money in.
I might have to give you back your behavior certificate back. You know what I'm saying? You earned that now because before I was like I'm not with this. I know him, so he should. He's talking about behavior, but you might have studied on this one, so that's good behavior.
Hey, there you go, baby. I got you.
All right, cool. We're gonna wrap this up. Nick, once again, man, always a pleasure having you on, man. This
Always, always.
from the second that I was like, listen, I need to bring some people on who I got. I said, who's the entertaining motherfucker? I said, oh, Nick, you gotta come on. I called you when I was in South America. I said, Nick, you gotta come on. Stop playing with me. So I knew who I wanted. I knew who I wanted on the show. So once again, everybody, please check us out. You know what I mean? YouTube and Spotify for the full episodes. Then we got the real game going on. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We all over the place. And Nick, man, I love you to death, man. When I came over from Lang City, right over to EHT, man, you was one of my boys to start. But unfortunately, right now, I gotta tell you, cuz you don't know football.
Thanks for having me, Reek.
Listen. Wing T in the NFL. Let's go.
Let's see it. Waggle.
Let's do it. All right,
91
cuz.
paid.
All right, cuz I'm gonna get with you. Just like Martin said, I'm gonna see you when I see you. Peace.
Peace.